Hello, welcome to MyStartup TV. I'm your host, Major Sunil Shetty. Entrepreneurs, of many entrepreneurs or wannabe entrepreneurs, especially those in school and colleges, the journey from idea to execution can be a daunting task. Often, even thinking like a founder and wearing multiple hats becomes a challenge. To address this gap, there is an organization that is dedicated to helping students turn their ideas into venture. I'm talking about the Founders Lab. Joining me today on this show is Madam Sakuntala Kasaragadda, who is the founder of FoundersLab. Madam, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
So,
It's
ma'am,
great to connect with you.
same here, likewise. It's great to connect with you. And thank you for being on a show. So, let's start by understanding, what inspired you to start the Founder Lab, organization.
So, Founders Lab is being started with it carried from last 20 years experience of me and my co-founder. So, we have been actively engaged with the startup ecosystem for the last 10 years, very active. And before that also, we were engaged with MSMEs and livelihoods and training and capacity building of various people to bring them into economic activities. So this process has made us learn some things where we have seen the potential among the youth, because more than 65% of our population is youth. So when how to bring them into a potential workforce, because many of us, we see if they are above average in academics, are they are doing extremely well, they're flying to other countries for, either for the pursuing the higher education or for the better career choices. We have seen people, even though having potential for running enterprises, are choosing to go for jobs and are seeking for opportunities, attending various interviews, and taking stress that the work doesn't suit to them. So all these experiences we have gathered, and we sat and we thought that why don't we address a gap? There is a gap because academic institutions, they concentrate on academics and placements. Schools concentrates on teaching them the subject expertization and knowledge. So, if none of these institutions are, though they wanted to give the time for innovation and bring the entrepreneurs from their own campuses, because of various other reasons, their statutory compliances and their network issues. Network means, in the sense, startup ecosystem or the kind of ecosystem within the campuses and outside connections, so they're a little bit lagging behind. So we thought that why don't we venture into academic institutions and see that whether we can do a possibly intervention with the support of the managements of the academic institutions, where we place our people over there and start working with the students for bringing startups. So that's where it took birth in the year 2023. 2023, we started in the month of June. So when we started, immediately within a month, we have received tremendous response from the academic institutions. So two of the big colleges from the state have signed with us for executing this. Then immediately we started work. And now we are with more than 8 academic institutions working closely for the startup ecosystem building. Where we stand is last 2 years' work resulted in bringing 40 startups into the picture from the academia. So, Founders Lab, in a way, from idea to launching, is it's from our own experience. We wanted to bring. So, even if you see the Founders Lab logo, there is a build enterprise, build nation. So, we strongly believe in until and unless you create employment opportunities within the country, you can't develop it. So for bringing those employment opportunities, you need to create enterprises, local enterprises. That's where we started this.
So, from
From
your
your
experience, you spent a few years now. What are the biggest hurdles that students face when trying to move from idea to execution?
Primarily, when they start having the idea, a little bit of lagging in research, like who has already done this, and who is doing the similar kind of activity. When analyzing this, many of us close eyes because we wanted to prove that whatever idea comes to me, that needs to be appreciated, saying that you are the one doing it. So they ignore that other people are doing it. The first mistake that they do. Second thing, the hurdle would come is time allocation between the academics and enterprise building activity. What happens is they spend most of the time in submitting assignments and other things. They treat it as an academic activity. No, the prototype building or the working model creation is not a kind of academic activity. It needs a lot of concentration and passion. That passion is something that makes them to prove that yes, this model will work. That's the second thing. Third thing, when it comes to the market analysis, they always land in the assumptions that they make would be far from reality. Means when they're budgeting, always a business rule is you expect more expenditure and you expect less profit. Then only you enter into the right kind of thing. But what happens here is the students, when they are analyzing the budget, they show us the expenditure very low and they show the profit to be very high, because everybody should tell them that yes, you are doing pretty good job. But once they enter into the real picture, what happens? They'll get disappointed, and they immediately say that we didn't expect this risk. So the risk analysis and other things. These are the kind of major hurdles that they face when they are bringing into idea into experience.
So,
How does FounderLab support students in transforming their ideas into practical, workable ventures? What do you do with them? I mean, one is to work a workshop or conduct workshops, but then who are the people who are conducting it? So how do you, how does that journey work?
Believe in one workshop or one seminar gets a enterprise into the picture, because the idea to execution, idea to enterprise is always a rigorous work of 12 to 18 months work that to be kept. So what we do is, though we conduct the workshops for orientation and awareness, we don't trust in creating always workshops to bring an enterprise into the picture. What we do is, once we have the workshop is being done, we conduct a ideathon where we analyze the ideas how they are there, and we sit with each student for working on that. Once they are into certain phase like proof of concept, what we do is we divide them into the sectors and the technology dependency. Then we start working with them to build the prototype. So once they build the working model and prototype, we bring the industry experts to analyze it, whether the working model or the prototype is according to the industry standards or not. Because until and unless it is not matching with the industry standards, it won't work. Because it's not a science project that we submit with a thermocol sheet in the science congress and say that it is going to work and you give me prize. That's going to be a industry, that they are going to build an industry or a company. So we bring the industry experts, see that whether it is matching with the industry standards. So the mentors that they are giving us from various industries the time, we take them to the institutions, we make them sit with the student, work with them, and then they take 2 to 3 months to build that particular industry standard working model. Then once they build the working model, what we do that we test it. Once we test it, then we take them into another round of workshops where how to do our market research and how to fix the price, how to take into consideration of funding opportunities, and how to pitch before the investors and funding grants people. Then how to even apply for various other competitions that are in the ecosystem. So we take that time, 2 to 3 months time, to bring all those things apart from exhibiting this working model. If that working model is really a new one, not having anybody's replica or something, we also encourage them to apply for IP, whether it's a product IP or it's the concept IP, and the intellectual property rights that we apply for them, that IP, the patent. And then we slowly start sitting with them and start working on that, how much support they require financially and in the market. So in this process, we bring 7 to 8 industry experts into the student space, and where they sit with them, they talk to them, they brainstorm, they go, they pitch. So for certain instances, sir, one of our student startup has pitched in Science Bombay, IIT Science Bombay Incubation Center, where they got a considerable feedback and they have built on that and they made to Eureka finalists. And the same startup had been to now pitching to IIT Delhi for the health tech startup seed fund, where possibly they are going to get it. And one of the startup pitched before RKB by Raftar and got a prototype funding support. Now they are going to get support for even scaling up that particular prototype. So certain interface that we create to the students. It's not that me or my co-founder will go and give an orientation session that you become an employer, you become an enterprise. No, we don't trust in that. One workshop cannot build an enterprise.
No, definitely what you said is right.
And when you talk about students, it's doing a workshop as you would do it for somebody in their 20s or 30s or 40s may not work. So my question is, how do you make it entertaining for the students? Because that's the other thing, right? Because the students in school, colleges, 10+2, how do you make them, how do you make it entertaining so they find it, they engage with it?
What we do is we naturally don't take them into a subject class saying that you sit for 3 hours, you listen to PPTs and you do this. So we usually bring them into two kinds of things. One is engaging them with the actual product. Suppose if there is something that activity involves the IoT or robotics, we bring robots, we make them build that particular robot in that workshop and operate that robot, operate that particular IoT sensor which they build along with the experts, and try to find out that what is the potential gap in the market for these people to venture in. So it's challenging for them. By the end of the 2 days or 3 days workshop, they'll have to put forth the point that where the market needs them and what kind of expertise that they will be going to get and what kind of solution that they are providing is a thing. So they'll be attentive. Second thing, when it is not related to the subject or technology, what happens for the generic things, we bring the existing startups into the picture, where these startups will come and start sharing their story, that how they build the startup, how they are ventured from a student phase to a startup phase, what are the challenges that they acquired, and the students will be getting actively involved in asking questions. They will be very much enthusiastic that a person who is 4 or 5 years elder to them, having a company and employing people, providing them internship opportunities. So these people will be usually enthusiastic to ask many questions and they will engage in. So 1 or 2 sessions that will be little bit subjective sessions when it comes to the finance and budgeting, that needs to work on each business model. So what we do is we don't teach them how the budget and P&L works. We teach them, we ask them to come out with what support they require and how they will look at their own profits. So that's how we developed our methodology to deal with the students.
No, that's very interesting. And
I would say that kind of, I'm sure, creates more engagement with students and with your teams, because they can see it how the whole system works. So many young founders struggle with thinking like an entrepreneur. Now, and why is it important? Because not for job, even for to work in a place. So how do you help them cultivate this mindset? Now, why I'm asking this is, having an entrepreneurial mindset is important even for organization if they're hiring, people to work for them. So how do you help them? How do you help them cultivate this mindset?
Basically, what happens is, yes, this is a challenge. I do agree. When a student wants to venturing into the entrepreneurship and they start with an idea, they'll keep on coming for I'll incur this expenditure for a prototype. Like I need 4,000, 5,000. Can you ask the management, college management to provide me this grant and other things? What we tell them always is, it's not that you go and ask your parents. We tell them that if it is a very meager cost, like it's not a considerable cost, which is a costing like your monthly spending with your friends or something costing to you to create a working model. So we always tell them that think like a businessman. It's investment. Tomorrow, when you are going to launch this enterprise, particular enterprise or particular thing, you're not going to give away the money to anybody, right? You calculate everything. So are you going to give the person who gives you for a prototype 5,000? If the prototype costs you 5,000, somebody sponsors you whole 5,000 because they sponsor your prototype and proof of concept. Are you going to give them an equity of 50%? They immediately say, no, 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 no. If they ask, we don't. Then we come to that point saying that when you are not willing to provide anybody, share your profits or share the fruits of what you have done today. So if possible, you guys, if you are 3 or 4 people together are doing, it's hardly 1,000 rupees for each person to create certain working model or to show the people that it is working. So certain times you need to think about like a business person because you are working on your own concept, you're building your own business. So that kind of things we involve. And then when it comes to the large amount, means major amounts, what we do is we ask them to write a proper business proposal. We involve them in writing what ultimately the college gets. Because if college sponsors their prototype or institute sponsor their prototype, what happens is they need to share their IP rights also with the institution because the institution is giving you lab access, resources, faculty mentoring, everything is giving. So we inculcate among themselves saying that nothing will come for free for anybody. This you need to work. And when you are working, you need to think like an entrepreneur. You need to calculate how you minimize the cost, how you maximize the opportunity and profit. So that's how we teach them from the day one, actually. We don't tell them that we give grants, you work.
No, that's very good.
That there is no grants, and you don't expect grants if you want to start your business. You may get it later, and also that if you are using somebody's service, some resources, you should have that mindset to share from what you build. So the other important thing is private schools and colleges, especially the engineering colleges, professional colleges, they have advantage over government colleges or schools. So do you, because they are based out of cities and English medium and resources available. The challenge is with people who are in towns, villages, districts, especially those which are in remotely placed. So do you work with government schools, colleges, or colleges that are based outside the metro cities?
We started working with the tier 2 cities only, where many students are coming from villages and interior places. We started our work from Warangal with a engineering college which has a 43 years of into academics. So when we started working, we observed that many students are coming from the interior villages of Telangana, and they are from rural background. Even the solutions that they work also hail from the problems that they face in the villages and their parents face. So people work with the common problems that occur into the lives. Second thing, for working with the government schools and government colleges, we have also have one more organization called Young FoundersLab Foundation, which is a sister concern of this FoundersLab Private Limited. So what we do is if somebody comes forward and say that yes, if there is a 15 days workshop for a prototype building and other things, that activity, if somebody is coming forward to sponsor a meager cost of the mentor and other things, we are executing those kind of programs with the Young FoundersLab Foundation. We are also working with community through Young FoundersLab Foundation to bring the MSMEs into the space, where we are helping women, SHGs, and other people like whoever are building their own livelihood enterprises and the MSMEs. Young FoundersLab Foundation is always catering to the needs of the people. So as we are not at 3 years old, what we are doing is whatever comes to us through philanthropy and other things, we are trying to address that. But once we become 3 years old and once we start getting the external support also, the wings for the government schools and government colleges also will be much more.
So, you've been
working with the students for a while. Have you seen any change in their mindset, especially in the last 5 years, when where they are looking for instead of jobs, they're wanting to start their own businesses?
Basically, if you see initially when I was working with government and consulting also, the moment they are graduated, they used to come for an opportunity for internship and job providence. Now, if we are going into the colleges and seeing people are having 1 or 2 offers in hand, then also they are preferring if they are able to build their enterprise, they wanted to go with it. One example is one of the student group in Warangal. They have built a startup called MAD IoT Solutions, MAAD, MAD IoT Solutions. These students started with venturing into IoT sensor-based agri-shield building for protection of the crops during the unforeseen rains. They've got the support from RKB by Raftar for prototype building. But that also, like, it's only a meager fund of 5 lakhs for them to build the prototype. For scaling up and other things, they have to do so many things. But these 4 students, after graduating, they did not take up jobs. They stick to their concept. They started their own company. They started working in their own college incubation center by taking the co-working space over there and entering into incubation agreement. Now what they are doing is they are taking interns from their own junior batches. So these kind of, maybe it'll be very few cases that they work when they have an opportunity in hand, but it will create a motivation to other student batches or juniors to take them as inspiration to build their own entity. So likewise, we have more than 8 startups in one college where they all post graduating, they all are staying in the incubation center working for their own businesses.
Domino effect you want, at the college level, because these are the people who would, create, those the 1 lakh plus or 1 million plus entrepreneurs. So I mean the great work you're doing. So where do you see student-led startups in India heading in the next 5 to 10 years, and what kind of role your organization FoundersLab would play in this journey?
Last year, 2 years, when we started in 2023 to 2024, we are limited to Telangana. We were working in Telangana. We are concentrating on the colleges of Telangana, Tier 2, Tier 3 colleges. Either in Hyderabad city also, we are concentrating on the colleges where they have minimal infrastructure and wanted to give back to the students something. So now the 24, what we have done is 24, 25, we've also started spreading our wings to Andhra Pradesh, where we have started working in a region, Tirupati region. It's near to Nellore. Institution called Adi Shankara Institute. It's a deemed university, Adi Shankara deemed university. So where we started working for the Atal Community Innovation Center, we are spreading our wings to Andhra. Then now we are getting even receiving calls and references to the other states like Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, and people are expressing interest. Even one university in Karnataka approached us, support us setting up an incubation center in our place, and help us develop systems and policies for the startup incubation over there. And we've also received various calls even in the inception days from Agra, Noida, those places. Now what we are doing is we are also trying to spread our wings to those states also, wherever people are inviting us. So once we enter into one institution in that particular region, what we are doing is we are also approaching to other institutions for the business or the kind of promoting our own business sustainably. So next 5 years, what I could see is people like us, like either it's FoundersLab or like us, who are able to nurture from idea to enterprise in academic institution and provide the support to the academic institution as a great future actually, because we are needed there. Faculty are not enough to take care everything. They might be the primary mentors, but they cannot bring the business chances or business scope to the campus because of their own scope of work.
No, very true. And also, it's
Very
very
difficult
difficult.
for faculties to keep updated with the latest trends, latest technology. So you always need an external support. You're doing an amazing job there. And so, do you think in coming years there'll be more number of students taking up entrepreneurship?
Yes, because of external reasons also. Because now the visa rules are very strict for anybody to fly and pursue the education. And post that also, job opportunities within that other countries is also very difficult for the people. So now people started thinking about, why should I run away from my own place? Means it's kind of running away from my own place, not able to digest the realities, and I go to another place, and why should I face difficulties? So let me build my own entity. At least if I am able to employ 2 or 3 more people in my own entity, and the respect is immense for an entrepreneur. It is not like olden times. Olden times, when I was small or when we were small, people used to think this person could not get any job, that's why they are doing business. But now the perceptions are changed. Parents are also like proudly saying that my son runs a startup, my daughter runs a startup. It has become a pride thing. So
Very true.
yeah.
I mean, we
So
ourselves, as a
The
media
organization, we have
organization,
seen the change happen from 2019 when we started to now. The perception has changed. The people are looking at, especially the youth are looking at startup as an option, as the first choice rather, not as an option. So, do you want to give any message to people who want to be entrepreneurs and educational institutions or to the parents?
uh, for academic institutions, whatever resources or whatever money they are spending on making their student startups will not go in vain, because many of the academic institutions think that what will I get back by encouraging this kind of culture, because it's an additional cost and additional maintenance for the institution. But that's not true. The more startups or the more enterprises that you are able to bring from your campus will give you an additional income chance of, by incubating them within your own campus. That is a income channel for the college, and also it brings sustainability for the academic institutions, where people see the flourishing careers in the academic institution. They see the industry 2.0 from the colleges. So the academic institution should scale in such a way that they as important as placements are, incubation cell and the enterprise development cell also that important. And giving that scope of building enterprises will always sustain the institution is one thing. And for the students, many of the students, though they are preferring startups and other things, you always think about the moment I build a startup, people will come and give me money. That's a myth. You have to work for it. Because grants and other things are only to encourage people or to bring a more inclusivity into the sector. It's not to sustain your business. It's not to sustain your enterprise growth. So you always have to work with the new trends, new market, and sustaining the market competition, that you have to strive for it. This is one thing. For parents and other things, whether it is a success or failure, the work that they have done would not go waste. Why? Because the person, when they build a technology or a product, will always be preferred even in industry for placement. Though their entity is being failed, it doesn't mean that they are not capable, because they are always preferred as a vertical leads or product leaders in the companies, because they have already built the product.
oh, very well brought up,
Ma'am,
ma'am.
for each segment, whether
whether
it is for the how should the institution look at this whole concept of entrepreneurship, individuals and parents itself. Very well brought out. Before I sign off, I would like to ask, we MyStartup TV, we are a media house. We are dedicated to Indian startup ecosystem, the entrepreneurs like you, and we are the messengers. We carry the message. The kind of work we've been doing is we have got 5 verticals. OTT, we got a startup OTT, we have got a monthly magazine, we have got a web TV where we broadcast 24/7. All of this we put together is to take messages from entrepreneurs like you to the startup ecosystem. What do you think about the kind of work we are doing?
Yes, because I was telling I know you from 2019. When I was at WeHub, I think some of your team members met me in Warangal during our interaction with the collector over there for bringing entrepreneurship over there. These kind of platforms are always needed. Why? Because people should know that somebody is working for them. The OTTs are not for movies and serials. The OTTs can be for promoting business. It can be helping people to share, because network is always net worth. So that net worth is bringing by the people like you to share the experiences. Today, maybe 5 or 10 must be viewing my interview. But the thing is, when they come through this always or certain times, maybe it is a solution for others, saying that, yes, let me wait and see for my own success. And they might approach you saying that, why don't you promote my product? So this is a good platform for the people to promote their products, even also to share the views and even to get to know how other success and failure determines.
Very true. Very well brought up, ma'am.
Viewers, if you want to hear such interesting conversation with founders, join us at 4 p.m. Monday to Saturday on our live Founder Talk show. We also have Thought Leader show, which is at 5 p.m. from Monday to Saturday. Do join us Monday to Saturday for such interesting conversation. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for being on our show.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.